Hello everyone, greetings from Kenya. My name is Roseline Orwa. 10 years ago, I woke up to the reality of stigma, ostracization, and abuse as a childless widow. In a society where a woman's worth is measured by the number of children she births. At the time, I only knew I wanted to stand up for my rights and dignity. But what I did not know, that I was breaking the silence of widow cleansing and abuse against over 4 million widows in Kenya. I ended up closing my business, mobilizing widows, protesting, doing advocacy, and championing widow rights in Kenya. I began to host what I call loss and grief sharing forums in my own house. One Saturday afternoon, I ended up with over 70 widows and their children who did not want to live, with endless needs. This reality led to the founding of the foundation that I now run, and a Widows and Orphans Center in my village of birth. Then on, I've been championing widow rights up to now against many odds. While it is tempting to tell you that the ground has shifted and the Kenyan widows are organizing themselves, the reality for the rural widows is another. The rural widows are in dire need of recognition, acceptance, protection, and resource allocation. Social neglect and oppression for rural widows in Kenya is appalling. We fight more than poverty and diseases. We are the victims of widow cleansing and outdated cultural beliefs. These unspoken sexual cleansing ceremonies denies the widows their rights and dignity and propagates the HIV and AIDS spread. Social exclusion is real and goes unchallenged. And anybody who tries to challenge it is seen as an outcast. There's no place for choice for rural widows in Kenya. We represent pockets of poverty. Poverty wears our face. We remain forgotten and left behind. I believe time is now that no widow should be left behind. And cultural reforms that is a first step of many other progressive avenues needs to be put in place. We are partners in progress for development and socio-economic activities. Because the government, elected leaders, and duty bearers have not taken an active role in championing and advancing the protection of rural widows in Kenya. The need for social programs to be developed for rural widows, particularly on poverty alleviation, economic empowerment, and social integration, housing, remain our greatest needs. And this work is only left for underfunded NGOs. The men, the church elders, and those in key leadership positions do not take active role in speaking against harmful cultural practices in Kenya. This is what we try to do. This is the silence we have broken. We endeavor and we need your support against many odds. Because lasting change is not only about laws and policy. It's more about changing attitudes and behaviors. CEDAW is in a better place to compel the Kenyan government to take a leading role in ensuring that equality and social justice is served to forgotten vulnerable widows in Kenya. and to further speak against harmful cultural practices, meted on women when they lose their husbands. This is our call to you all. Join us in speaking against harmful cultural practices. Because I believe no woman should lose her rights and dignity because she lost her husband. Margaret, thank you for your support and love and kindness. And thank you all for giving me the opportunity to speak to you. And may God bless each one of you. Thank you.